morning, gentlemen. Elizabeth Maservi with Thriving Results Coaching. And today we have a ton to cover. So my first request is please say hello if you're on the chat so I know who I can interact with. That's always the fun part of the call for me. Guys, we're here to cause transformation. That's what I'm here for. This isn't just another informational video. My goal, hi Darren, is actually to leave you empowered to have your life never be the same. Got that, Darren? Everybody who's on the call, say hello in the chat and welcome. Welcome to the call. Today we're going to go over how to find realistic women. And I've brought a whiteboard into my office today. So we're going to see how this works on YouTube Live, right? Because I can't share my screen. Okay, so guys, we have a ton to cover. Hi, Jesse. If you're here, say hello. Guys, sit on the edge of your seat and pay attention, okay? Because this is not lighthearted. What I'm about to share can give you the access to have a completely different experience this afternoon than you have ever had in your life. Okay, now, I want to briefly recap because what we went over yesterday is critical before you can do the work we're going to talk about today. So there are two things limiting you from finding the right kind of women. Number one, the filter that you have over your eyeballs. It's like the lenses that you're looking at life through. We talked about that extensively yesterday and how to take them off and get back into reality. You think you're in reality, you're not. And yesterday I got kind of annoyed because someone was arguing with me about that. Like, oh, I'm looking at reality in the group. And I'm like, no, you're not. So just take the coaching or get out. I'm here to change people's lives. Okay, so here's the thing. Yesterday we talked about filters. Removing your filter is a first step. The other thing we talked about, or I mentioned, was pretend this is a mountain. And here you are over here. You can only see certain things on the mountain. But if you move over here, you can see a whole new world of that mountain. Now, if you're getting limited results, it's either because you're wearing a limiting filter or you are limited to a vantage point. The vantage point is the point from which your perspective arises. Where are you looking at life from? Over here, over here, over here, in a hole. Some of us dig a hole, climb in, and then look at life. And we're like, it's so dark. It's so claustrophobic. Okay. If your results are not what you want, one of these two things needs to shift. Also, removing your filters is an immediate phenomenon. It's not like training to run a marathon, guys. It is you get rid of the filter, and 10 seconds from now, you will never see life again the same. Complete transformation in a now phenomenon. Now, now, now. Now, is there work to do in finding realistic women after you take off your filters? Yeah, of course. But you can't even see them until you take off your filter. It's like, where are all the amazing women? Okay. So that's first. Next, change your vantage point. If you're not seeing what you want and you've removed your limiting filters, you must have a new place from which to look at life, to see new things. Okay, we want to put you in a different place around the mountain. So if you're looking for water, you now have access to see there's a freshwater lake, less than a mile away. You just had to change your vantage point to see it. Okay, now in changing vantage points, now we're going to get right into the work. How are we doing, guys? Type in the chat what you're getting. In order to change your vantage point, the first thing you want to do is recognize where you're coming from now, where your perspective is coming from. Where are you standing from which you are looking at women? So what do you guys see? Jesse and Darren, and I'm going to see if I can find out if there's someone else as well. So you guys are the only ones I see on the live call right now. So what's your perspective from which you're coming about women? This takes some intellectual effort. not introspection. Okay. So Jesse said, do you mean introspection, like being needy? Okay. So that's a good question. So Jesse, if you think women are needy or you think you're coming from being needy, because that's really, really good. One of the problems that men have in attracting high caliber women is that you guys have all this fabulous testosterone, but what comes with that is like a massive sex drive. And so you tend to get sexually frustrated, and then you need a partner, right? For connection, I'm not just talking about like intercourse, I'm talking about connection, physical satisfaction, right? And so you have this hunger and you start looking from a place of hunger. That is a vantage point. And the problem is the energy behind a hungry hunter is terrifying to a herd animal. Women are herd animals. We're like sheep, and when you guys are hungry and you're on the prowl, what do we feel? We feel afraid. Okay, so good. That's a vantage point that's probably not going to work to attract women. Let's talk about finding realistic women, which is the topic of today. So a vantage point might be it's anywhere from which you're looking. So for example, if you are, let's say you are in, like you go to the library to pick up women. Okay. And you're, okay. Well, actually, let's address the hunger thing. Let's address the needy thing first. So if you want to change your vantage point. So Jesse, let's say you're feeling, you said needy, but is hungry fair, or did you mean like some other kind of needy? So, but I'm going to address hungry, like, you want a partner. And then if that's not it, put it in the chat. We'll address that. So let's say you're hungry. You want to take care of your needs. Yeah, perfect. So we're talking about the right thing. So you want to get to a place where you're okay, whatever that looks like. So, and that can be tricky, especially if you have religious or moral attachments around sex, which I do, and most people who belong to my faith also do. And so what we do is we end up sexually anxious and starving, and then we start dating, and then we're like, well, you got to get married because you got to get married to have sex, right? And so we've driven to get married very fast in an unhealthy way. Okay, so guys, if you're coming from needy or hungry, just know that that's going to scare women away, and it's going to drive you to unhealthy partners. So Jesse, I want to address this, and then we're going to talk about vantage point again. What I've had to do is, so in our faith, where we believe, God doesn't want us to have sex before marriage. And again, I'm not preaching this to anyone. This is just to address this for men in our audience who have experienced this. Okay. This isn't judgment about you should think this way or something. But if you have this, like I made a promise to God, like no sex outside of marriage, right? So I had to go and also, we also believe that God communicates with us. So that's kind of handy. We call it personal revelation. Okay. So in this scenario, this isn't where I was expecting the call to go, but I'm glad. Let's deal with real life, right? I've had to go to God and find out what he wants me to do about it, because otherwise I'm stupid when I'm dating. Like you just get so desperate that you can't be your best self. And here's what I do want to say. The doctrine of the gospel that I believe in is different than the culture at church, what they teach. So I've had to take those two discrepant things to God and say, okay, again, this is purely personal, but I hope this will make a difference for you guys. What I've had to say to him is, what is your real will? How do you really view sexuality, the law of chastity? Like, what do you really want from me? Because what I promised is no sex outside of marriage, but the church teaches a whole lot of other things. Like, no touching, no holding, no cuddling, laying down together, depending how extreme your church leadership is, right? They want us to follow the standards of 16-year-olds who've never been married, in my experience. And that's not what the gospel teaches. It teaches no sex outside of marriage. So I've had to take that to my Heavenly Father and say, okay, I want to do what you want me to do. I'm willing to do what you want me to do. And I don't think what you want me to do is date stupid and horny. So what is the answer? And I've had to really struggle with him and listen. And I have found relief and help. And I'd love to talk to you more about that privately if that's something that, you're dealing with. So you've got to have integrity around your spirituality to attract a very powerful woman. And if what you believe is that you need to behave in a certain way, and that's what your God expects from you, you need to do that. But I would encourage you to go talk to your God and make sure you've got it clear. Because what you need to do is to come satisfied and happy. And from there, you can hook and reel in women that are healthy and powerful. So you've got to do what you need to do to come to the table happy and satisfied. You don't need those women. That's very attractive to us because we want to be needed. We're like, if you come needy and hungry, it's almost like it pushes us away. Like, why does he need someone? Is there something wrong over there? But if you don't need us, then it's like, ooh, look at that big, strong protector provider. Okay, so I hope I hope that was helpful. And now I want to talk about, Jesse, do you have, or Darren, do you guys have a question about that or a concern about that? Or maybe you guys aren't religious and you're like, that totally was irrelevant, right? So it's totally fine wherever you're at. Just put it in the chat so I can see where you're at. And I'll respond to that. But I also want to talk about Vantage Point, okay? So I brought this handy dandy and gorgeous whiteboard. Just erased all the data about my kids' allowance from it. Okay, I want you to consider, I'm not sure how much the camera's going to show, so this is my first time trying to bring a visual here. Probably going to switch to Zoom meetings. I'm really good at the whiteboard in Zoom. Okay, so what we're going to do is, and tell me if you guys can't hear me because I'm using a microphone and all. Okay, you're wrong about the calm apathy thing, but I'll address that later. Okay, so right now, I want you guys to consider, and I hope I have a darker marker. Stay. Let's see. Let's try this marker. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, so this is how life occurs to you. Okay, so you guys need to do this work as I'm going through this. This is actual work for you to do. If this is all of life, okay, this is all of life. So, the universe, Earth, other people, your coworkers, your family, all of life. Where are you in life? Oh, looks like it's going to reverse it. So whatever, it's going to be backwards. Okay. Okay, so if this is all of life, let's say this little dot right here is you. Okay? Is that fair, guys? I mean, where would you put yourselves? Just somewhere random in life, right? Oh, good. Sweet! Awesome. You guys are awesome. Okay, now, if this is life, and you're this little dot in life, then how do you experience it? You experience it like you're at the effect of life, right? So life is happening. Watch this. I've got colors. Life is happening to you. There's a lot more life than you. True or not true, guys? Sock in a washing machine. What? Okay, guys. Life's happening to you. This is a vantage point. Do you see that this is a perspective from which you are born into life? Darren's like, yeah, it's the truth. Darren, I want you to consider this is not the truth. This is just your perspective that you were born into. Because when you're born, did you choose to be born? No, you got pushed out this little tiny hole or cut open or cut out of a sack, right? So yeah, so life is happening to you and it has been since you were born. Life's a lot bigger. The guy or woman who helped you be born outside of your mama is a lot bigger than you are. And the earth is bigger than you are. The company who hired you to work is bigger than you are, right? Right, guys? So this is a vantage point. This is how you're looking at the mountain. This is how you were born into it. It's not your fault. It is the default view of life. Are we clear? Now, whose brain, this is a trick question, and I want you guys to interact with me. Excuse me, I'm going to try and grab the lid for this marker. Okay, whose brain accepted this idea today? Okay. Oh, you're a sock in the washing machine. Like that's part of life. Yes, I got it, Jesse. Jesse says it's like, my experience of life is like I'm a sock in the washing machine. Yes, the machine is going and you're just part of it. Okay. Good job, guys. Good job making this fun. Now, this is the vantage point. You have to be willing to give up. And you have a lot of evidence that this is the truth. I'm saying it that way on purpose, okay? The truth. Now, remember we talked about yesterday, there's only one truth. If you leave religion out of it, because I did bring religion in, okay? Because I have religious ties to the concept of truth. Now, the truth. This is not the truth. This is just our experience. Remember yesterday how we separated what we've interpreted from what really happened? Jesse, you're right, but you've got to own it. This is not informational. I want you to do the work. So Jesse says, I assume you're going to say our brains accepted this. Yeah, your brains accepted it, but you and everyone who's on this call, thank you. By the way, I can't really tell how I'm interacting with this microphone. I've got a new microphone, so please tell me if like it's crazy loud or anything weird with the volume, okay? Or the sound. Now, the truth has nothing to do with you're at the effect of life. You're just a sock in a washing machine, okay? But this is the perspective that you have chosen to accept. Obviously implying you have a choice. Yes? Oh, thank you, Darren. I really appreciate it. So, if you have a choice and there's a more powerful vantage point available, would you be willing to set aside what you have decided the truth is? Because if you're not God, then you don't get to say what the truth is. That's kind of the summary of what we discussed yesterday. You have one perspective out of 7 billion people who are currently living on the earth. And so therefore your view doesn't count as the truth. Okay? So if you agree this is your perspective, then you must also agree that there might be an equally valid opposite or different, not opposite, alternate perspective. So we're going to say this is not the truth. This is just my past experience. My past experience. Now, is that accurate, gentlemen? For each of you. And everybody should be doing this work. That you are a sock in the washing machine. Oh gosh, this is going to be fun for my left shoulder. Keep having to twist around. Okay. I'm going to look back in 10 years and go like, wow, those videos were really primitive. Anyways, sorry, you're hearing my internal dialogue. Okay, so here's the thing. Are you willing to take on a new vantage point that you have no evidence for yet? Okay, so guys, this vantage point is not serving you. It's not attracting the kind of women that are available and want to be attracted, that would love to be in a partnership with a powerful man. This perspective does not provide you the energy to step into your masculine energy. Like your manliness is what I like to call it. And what I mean is that there's healthy masculinity and there's unhealthy masculinity. Healthy masculinity provides banks to the river of feminine energy. Unhealthy masculinity dams off the river and says, no, stop it, you crazy woman. Healthy masculinity is like guides the feminine. So when she gets bigger and like rages as a river, he also gets bigger and lets her flow through. It doesn't affect him. He just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and he doesn't shrink down. He doesn't try to stop her. So we're going to be talking about stepping into your healthy masculine energy. And you've got to go there to hook the women. I'm going to talk about this fishing analogy, right? You're going to hook them and you're going to pull them into you or reel them in. It's more fun for both of us. It's way less work for you. No more hungry hunting and having women run away. Okay, Jesse? First, you're going to go satisfy your hunger, and then you're going to change your vantage point. Okay, so have I talked about this enough that you guys are ready to consider a new vantage point? That means giving this up. And what you're probably going to notice is some resistance is going to come up as we go through this. And you're going to go, but. And every time resistance comes up, first of all, put it in the chat. And secondly, remember, this got you to where you are. If you want to keep it, you're wasting your time on this call. All right, Darren, I'm going to take that as permission to move forward. Now, we're going to leave up your past experience because it's going to be different from now on. This is old. This is outdated, and it's not serving you. That's a perfect circle, by the way. That is not an egg shape. It's just, camera distortion. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to change this label a little bit. This is fun. I always do this virtually on a whiteboard in Zoom, but now I have an actual whiteboard. It's kind of fun. We are going to call this the 100% ownership vantage point. This is a perspective of life that is... So, guys, do you see how this perspective was made up? Like, you're breathing, you have a heartbeat, you're at a computer or device interacting with me right now, but this is just a made-up perspective. This one is also made up. It's made up. It's just way more powerful. Okay. Now, in the 100% ownership, so let's go back to the old perspective you used to have. What is the source of all life? Yes, they're both contrived, but contrived is a negative word, Jesse, so you want to say it this way. They're both created. One was created by accident. One is created on purpose. So yes, they are both contrived in a non-negative way. They're both created. So in this old perspective, guys, what is the source of life that is happening to you? What is the source of life that is happening to you? I mean, where do you think it comes from? Yeah, what is the source of external events? What is the source of everything that's ever happened? This is fun. This is like the most funnest call ever. Ah! So Jesse says external events is the source, but what's the source of the external events? Interesting. Okay, so if you're religious, you would say it's God. So that's the idea, right? So there's something mysterious that's unseen in this perspective, okay? There's something outside of us that is the source of all life. Let me see if I can add a little color here. Okay. So if you don't believe in God, that's totally cool. But because those of us who believe in God, we can't see him either, right? So there's something invisible that's the source of all life, and we just got born into it, and we're like a sock in the washing machine. Okay, so that's the old view. In the new view, where you take 100% ownership for all of your experiences, every experience of every breath, of every waking moment, of everything. Who's at the source of all life? It's like we need some Jeopardy music. Jesse says it's him. Yeah. So in this contrived perspective in a mysterious way that you have never been present to. You are the source of all life, which is interesting in my theology, since we believe we're descended from God. And this does look a little bit like that, except now we're taking ownership, right? So God's descendant, I don't know, but sorry, you guys you're inspiring me to make this so religious today, which is fine. I love sharing my faith, but usually it's not necessary in here, but that's okay. This is fun. So in this perspective, I want you to try this on for a second. This is a different vantage point. Do you guys see this is a totally different place to stand from which to view women and your entire life? And guys, I want to warn you and everyone who's going to watch this after you. This requires you to pretend you've never heard this before, because what your brain is going to be like, I know, take responsibility. No, that is not what I'm saying. Stop it. So if you think you've heard this before, pause, put that crap away, and come back like you've never heard anything in your life and get on the edge of your seat, because this is life-changing. Now, if you were to take on that you, in a way unknown to you, are mysteriously the cause of every experience you've ever had in life, every news article you've ever read, every school teacher you've ever had, every woman who ever did anything to you, starting with your mother, if you are the source of all of your experiences, what then what? What is true? What is coming up for you guys? So I'm going to coach you and the guys who are going to watch this after you to take this on in this way. Because this is relevant to single men who want to be in a committed relationship. I want you to think about a woman that you wanted to be with and it didn't work out. Think about a woman you wanted to be with and it didn't work out. Now, if you were the source in an unknown way to you of her ghosting you or cheating on you or lying to you or being, I'm going to think of some examples or feeling entitled to your income. What if you're the source of her feeling entitled to your income without any commitment? Like, right? Somebody in the group mentioned like women feel entitled to my time and attention and they give very little back. What if you're the source of what women are showing up as around you? Darren, if that were true for you, what comes up? Jesse says, oh my gosh, if I'm the source of it all, I want to be in control. Hell yeah. Of course you do. And you are. You always have been. Every experience you've ever had to go through your brain to be interpreted. So Darren says that would mean that I can control or affect who shows up and who doesn't. Exactly. And you can. That is 100% available. You guys are doing a really good job not getting into resistance. So, Jesse, in order for you to control what you are manifesting and what experiences you're having, what you said was, where's the control panel? Where are the buttons? Okay, it actually is like that. However, there are principles around managing this. There are principles about what experiences you have in life and who shows up, Darren. And I'm going to give you an example of this, Darren. You were being a certain way when you joined our group. And I assume it's okay if I call you out. That's why I don't use last names in here. Okay. You were being a certain way and you felt that women were using you consistently. Like friend women, old women, young women, right? They would come into your life to use you and they had no intention to give anything back. That's kind of what you shared with us as a group a long time ago. Then you changed your perspective and how you were operating. And what you said about it was, all of a sudden, the girls I'm interested in, I am becoming a higher priority for them. All of a sudden, magically, you changed. You were the source of your experience before. You changed the filter, by the way. Taking the filter off of your eyes is preliminary to this. This is changing your vantage point. If you have the same filters, it will do you no good to change your vantage point, by the way. Darren, you're so awesome. He says, I'm impervious now. No one can touch me. Beautiful. But the point is, you can actually go 10,000 times farther than you've gone, Darren. And Jesse, you probably haven't started this journey yet because you're kind of new to the group. If you are the source of everything that's showing up in your life, you better the hell get curious about what is causing everything that's showing up in your life, right? You better find out how your way of being is causing those kind of women to show up. The same kind of women. For Al, it was indecisive women. For a guy that I coached on a live call before we started our group, it was women who adored him like a brother. He kept manifesting women who were not interested in him romantically, but they thought he was fantastic as a brother. Do you see that a certain way of being would keep producing the same result if it was you, not the world? Okay, if you keep manifesting women who feel entitled, you're the common denominator, guys. Bad news. It's bad news and good news. It's really good news because you can control it if you're willing to take the time to learn how. So, Jesse, I want you to try this on. Try this on at work with your professional life, right? I don't know if you have your own business, or I have no idea what you do for work. But try on that all of the results and even the way your coworkers show up is directly related to how you are being in the world and whatever levers you don't even know you're pulling. What would that mean if that were true? So Darren, the common denominator in all of your experiences is always going to be you. You're like a slobbery black blob on a whiteboard. Okay. So if you are attracting women who cheat on you, if that's happened to you more than once, okay, I want to tell you guys something. I attract men who are let's see, what is it? Because I would say emotionally unavailable, but that's not always true. I'm emotionally unavailable at times, so I won't connect. So half the time I attract emotionally unavailable guys, but when I attract emotionally available guys, they don't stick around because they're like, oh yeah, no, they're not a match, right? So for my energy, one of the things I consistently attract is emotionally unavailable guys. They find me irresistible. Now, oh, Jesse, very good. Everyone you've previously dated is data for what you're attracting. This is why, guys, this is why. Okay, Jesse threw a comment in. Sorry, I'm doing the girl thing now. I want to go like from topic to topic. I'm like in my wild river feminine energy. Okay, so you guys be the riverbanks, okay, and keep me on task. That is actually really comforting to women when you guys set boundaries with us, okay? So that's how you can serve me right now. Okay, so let me finish this though. If you are attracting a woman who cheats, there's something you're doing, probably ignoring red flags, but there's some way that you are consistently operating that allows that to be. I have never had a partner cheat on me, not a marriage partner, not a dating partner, not a boyfriend. I have never had a boy cheat on me. And it's not because boys don't cheat. So don't say women are cheaters. That's bullcrap. It is what you are attracting. If women cheat on you, you're attracting it. And this is hard to hear, guys, because it makes it sound like you're wrong. You're an idiot. No, you're a good man. You're just blind to this phenomenon. You are the source of it. You want to get curious. what you're doing that allows that to happen. What you're doing that allows you to stay with women who don't want you, because women do not cheat unless they want something else. Good job not being in resistance, Jesse. But for those of you who are watching and are in resistance, it's okay. Resistance looks like you want to defend your view. If you want to defend your view, guys, this is even truer for you. You only defend what is actually true. It's because the truth hurts. Now, Jesse, if it doesn't hurt yet, maybe you should look a little deeper, okay? So, Jesse, one thing you shared, I'm going to call you out now. I love you guys for coming live, and I hope it's not too much of a repellent, but I just keep calling you out. Maybe that's why no one else comments. I'm just noticing what I might be manifesting here. I'm manifesting men who don't mind being called out, and I'm scaring away all the other ones. Just noticing. Okay. But anyways, I really appreciate you guys. So one of the comments I think you made, might have been a different guy actually, I think it was you, was women make me a low priority. Like their friends are more important to me. They're more compassionate with people other than me when I'm their man. Okay. So Jesse, that is one of the things you're manifesting. If that was you, whoever said that comment, okay, they're manifesting that. And you want to look and see, okay, what way am I operating that attracts that kind of woman? And a lot of it has to do with our relationship to ourselves, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. We're going to need to talk about that in another video because we're almost out of time. I really want to have this get really solid for you guys. So you can apply this in any result that you want. So would one of you guys be willing to share a result that you really, really want, but you have either never manifested it or you have not ever consistently manifested it? So what's a result like that? Preferably around women, right? Like maybe you want, okay, Jesse, I think it was you that said, when you approach a woman, she gets scared and you take offense. You're offended that she's scared. And I was trying to say to you, it has nothing to do with you, dude. It's instinctive, but whatever way you are being is causing fear to arise in total stranger women. So do you see that? Oh, yeah. Jesse, this is so good. I'm actually going to address your comment because I love it even more than my example. So Jesse says, a result I would love to consistently, an experience I want to consistently have is feeling manly and confident. Yes, that is one reason I started this group, because you guys are so amazing. And when I say amazing, you're already amazing, but you're so amazingly attractive and beautiful to us when you're manly, when you're in your full confidence, when you're on your tower and you're in your castle, when you're feeling that prince that you are, right? You are so freaking attractive. Now, you want to consistently, so Jesse, you want to get curious. You are operating in some way with yourself. You are operating with yourself in a way that is communicating to yourself, you don't measure up and you don't get to feel like a man today. And I don't know what that is. So you got to look at your internal dialogue. You got to look at your actual actions. How do you treat yourself? Where do your needs come? Do you shame when you have sexual needs? Do you shame yourself? Like, you want to look at how are you operating that you are getting knocked off your tower, because you are wired to be a man. I mean, like a caveman man, like, ooh, come here, woman. Like, this is my cave and you can stay until I don't like you and then I kick you out, right? Caveman man. That's how you're wired. You have the testosterone. I don't. You have the biceps. I don't. Okay. So the point is, you're operating in a way relative to yourself that is damning yourself, that is like condemning yourself, that is bringing you down to like you don't get to be a man right now. You're not X. It might be, single. Some guys make themselves wrong for being single. Most guys blame women. It's less painful. So when blaming others makes us less responsible, it takes away our ownership. Oh, women are just indecisive. That's the problem. No, that's not the problem. Your perspective on who you are is the problem. Okay. So Jesse, what are you seeing around feeling manly? What are you doing, or how are you operating or being or thinking Oh, you're trying to abandon yourself. You're judging yourself. So I hope it's okay if I share what you said. So Jesse's comment is, it seems like all of my manly, I've got to put this down. My shoulder's killing me. Okay. We're just gonna come back. This is so good, Jesse, that I'm going to stay on the call to answer it. Okay. All right. It seems like all of my instincts are bad, evil, not worthy of respect. The way to be good is to forsake all those cavemen inclinations. Jesse, if God wanted you to not have masculine inclinations, he would have made you a woman. And some of us even have masculine inclinations, or we try to, because we think that's the only way to be valuable in today's world. So what I'm hearing is self-rejection. You are rejecting the part of you that is, the testosterone caveman. And that would cause you to constantly feel not manly. You're throwing your masculine self under the bus. And this is for everybody. Because everybody, all of you guys do it. I've seen it in every single man I've ever talked to. To some degree or another, you are castigating yourself. And then you wonder why you have women who castigate you. You got to stop it at home base first. Jesse, none of your instincts are bad. I'm going to speak to Jesse. And Jesse, we're of the same faith, right? I think we are. I think you said that earlier. So I'm going to speak to your faith because I know that this plays a role. So here's the thing. Okay, great. So everyone else is going to have to apply this from their own schema. But from our schema, God made you with those instincts. I know there's a scripture that says the natural man is the enemy to God. But I want you to think about this. Set that aside. I want you to assume you don't fully understand it because it has not yielded light and truth for you. This behavior you've been doing has not yielded you being bigger, serving more people, and therefore it's not from God. Okay, when you feel not manly, you are not showing up in the world the way that you're committed to. You're not being the Christian you're committed to. So therefore, your interpretation of this scripture is not accurate. If it were, it would be filling you with light and truth. So there is light and truth about this. But I want you to consider that God made you the way you are. There's a man in our faith who is in my networking group who says, men are scum. And he's sort of joking, but not really. And what all that he means is that when a man sees a beautiful woman, he has sexual thoughts. That isn't scummy. That's how you guys were designed. It's not like he has evil intention to force himself on her. That's not what you guys do. You appreciate feminine beauty. Like, you appreciate that. That's not scummy. Okay, so that is how God made you. He had to have half of us be like you for the world to freaking work. So what you are going to have to do is give up your perspective, your filter. Okay, you just shared with us a filter that you have. That your caveman testosterone instincts are evil. They're not evil. They're so good. God wants you to use them. He actually gave us some guidelines, some boundaries that are like, I want you to use this. But here's the boundaries at which if you go past that fence, you're going to get hurt. Okay, Jesse? So I would say the commandments aren't even about what's evil. It's about when we use what's good in a way that will hurt us. Make sense? Yeah! But Jesse, here's what Jesse said so you guys can follow the conversation. It seems criminal, and he means like sinful. But my experience is that God is more accepting of my caveman than the rest of my associates. Jesse, I want you to talk to God yourself because we believe God talks to us. And here's what I've heard from him. He wants me to not only express my natural way of being that he put over here. He wants me to embrace it. He wants me to love on it. And he's not even upset when I go past the boundary and it hurts me. He just wants me to come to him for healing. He wants me to learn to stay in the boundaries that he set. But he provided a way for us to make it right when we go past. So what I had to discover was I had to explore life, let go of my ideas that, this may be the boundary, but you actually are supposed to stay this far in, or else you're just evil. Apparently I didn't silence my phone. So Jesse, I want you to reconsider your perspective. Good job identifying it unintentionally. You have a filter that you're not allowed to be manly. That is sinful. And what I'm telling you is the world needs you to step up and be your full man self, to stop shaming yourself, to forgive yourself for any time you have gone outside the boundary. Like, here's the commandment, here's inside, here's outside. That just hurt you, so God wants you to bring it back to him so he can heal you and you can start over. He always wants you to start over. There was, so in one of the scriptures that we believe in, there's a prophet who went to visit this nation that was, a lot of people were very much happy to hurt each other. They were very, very wicked. And he said to them, you know, if you've been killing the prophets, repent. So what does that tell us, Jesse? If you've been killing the prophets, that definitely hurts you, but it's not too late. So Jesse, what I want you to take away from that is, if you haven't been murdering the prophets, it's definitely not too late for you. If you have murdered a prophet or two, it's still not too late for you, although that's above my pay grade. I'm pretty sure you haven't. What's sad, though, is that you have been rejecting the parts of you that you needed to embrace to serve God's children the way you're committed to. You need to embrace your manliness, your masculine instincts, your testosterone, in order to provide a safe space for God's daughters to be in their feminine energy. We need you to step up and be the man. We're trained in society that we're supposed to be the man, and that's why we treat you guys like crap sometimes. Well, one of the reasons. There's lots of other reasons, but we're going to stick with that one. Okay, but we need you to forgive yourself for all the shaming that you've done. You know, you're bad and wrong. You know, this wouldn't be bad and wrong if you were married, but because you're not, it is. That makes no sense. Yeah, you've only sucked at leadership because you rejected yourself. Jesse says, I think I suck at leadership. That's a filter you put on yourself when you rejected yourself and you weren't leading. Hello? You need masculine energy to be a leader, dude. And it's all over you, obviously. You've been fighting it. You've been pushing it down. And I get that, because what I suppress, what I'm really mean to, is feminine, my feminine energy. For the, you know, my 20s, I tried to chain it to the toilet and starve it to death. I thought my feminine energy was like the evil, the weakness. And then I was like, oh, I have a heart, and that's what it feels like. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to apply this to you. So for all of you guys who are ashamed of your manliness, I want you to really go there, forgive yourself for being ashamed, and consider embracing it. Jesse, one of the things that I tell the men in this group, and you probably haven't heard it yet because you're kind of new, is you've got to step more towards caveman and away from nice guy. So if this is nice guy and this is caveman, I need you to move this way in order for you to massively attract amazing women. Pretty crazy, huh? Because what are women telling you? What is the entire world telling you? You need to be more nice. You need to be more sensitive. You need to be a girl. Yes. True or not true, Darren? You might be a very nice guy, but you need to be nicer. Like, women think you guys need to be women. And then when you are women, we don't like you. Have you guys noticed that? It's a lie. You need to embrace your caveman and let the man out. Right? I got that. But I want you to stay in your life, Jesse. Like, really make this personal to you, because you can transform this. It's not even being secure. It's like expressing your manness. You'll get secure in it if you practice. Okay? So Darren says, we need to be secure in being men. You might not feel secure in being men, but you can be a man anyway. It's going to be scary. Why? Because women have shot you down. They've told you, oh no, that's too manly. Oh no, you're too insensitive. Oh no, you're too assertive. Like, be nice, be my brother, be my dad. Yeah, I won't find you sexy, but I'll feel safe around you. Okay. So yeah, don't worry about being secure. Just let your caveman out. So what can you guys do to let your freaking caveman out and stop making him wrong? Yes, if manly man works for you, Jesse says, should I be asking what would a manly man do? No, because I want you to make this personal. I want you to say to yourself, what does my caveman want to do? Okay, Jesse, I want you to start. Come on, come back to reality. I want you. Okay. Find out what happens. I know you think it's evil. See what, Jesse, the comment you just made that I'm not reading is a comment that says you still think your caveman is a dirty old man. It's not. It's a good man. And it's going to be very attractive to the ladies. So practice, get out of your head. I know you like to live there. Lots of you guys do. Get out of your head and get on the street and say, what would my caveman do? Next time a woman is rude to you, or a man, what would my caveman do? And you're probably going to shut them down. And then you're going to feel like, whoa, you're going to feel like your chest got inflated. It got bigger. But you won't know until you do it. Decriminalize. Jesse says decriminalize manliness. It's not, decriminalize isn't a strong enough word. It's reject the criminalization of manliness and embrace your manliness. Like, celebrate it. It's not like decriminalize it. It's now legal. No, it's like celebrate it. Bring the caveman, dude, and bring it to our Facebook group. We need some life in there right now. Okay? So celebrate your manliness and let it the hell out. Open up the door. Let your caveman out at least a little bit. And start loving on him. You need to ask for his forgiveness. Like, I am so sorry I tried to keep you locked in the cave. No wonder I've been really frustrated. Okay. I am going to let you guys go now. This has been amazing. Thanks for participating. Very, very fun for me. And I'll catch you on the next video.